There's been a lot of times in my life where I've tried to navigate the different circumstances and the political climate and stratosphere of where America is headed. Because right now, America is on the brink of economic collapse, let's be honest. And the oil shipments from Cuba doesn't make the progress any easier. The oil blockade for Cuban immigrants with education and with them learning. It's really hard for them to express themselves, if that makes sense. The Cuban Americans need really good education, despite the poverty and the real facts of the reality. It is an overwhelming fact that most Cubans need their education without the fear of them going to faraway places. It causes a lot of stress in the long run. The Cuban Americans, with their education, they live far away and they have to travel. And then to get back, they just go back. It's pretty simple as that. The oil blockade, though, makes things complicated with the government and the government shutdown when it comes to Cuban immigrants and Cuban children learning in America in the education system. I can go on about the politics and the individual politics going behind the Cuban American children that are learning in classrooms and are trying to get education. I've always had issues when it came to expressing communication with my cousins, mainly because I've always struggled with communication and speech. It's just a thing that I struggle with when it comes to communication skills with my cousins. A lot of times in my life, I've been overwhelmed by the different tragedies and circumstances and the economic pressures in my Cuban family, which is also overwhelming because I'm genetically and culturally mostly Cuban. So, to be honest though, learning about the different dynamics and the cultural impacts of that stress creates a lot of stress for you in general when you're trying to navigate and manage, especially when it comes to the economic pressure of the Cuban American children trying to learn in the education system. It is a fact of the oil blockade that causes more stress for families that are Cuban in America, and that causes more political conflict and stress for them to just learn and be peaceful. It is a fact that it causes more stress if they are not in a stable environment with the culture that they're used to in the Cuban American environment, in a peaceful and uplifting setting, which is a single family, which is just the way things are when it comes to Cuban families in America. That will never change, and that is a fact that most Cuban families in America will never change because of those circumstances. So this is just my first podcast episode on the Cuban American children stressors and the issues when it comes to them just learning in general, when it comes to traveling to get their education and just to get to work on time. I'm Joshua with Vazquez Studios because I mostly take after my Cuban African mama, and I'll see you guys later.